What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Giveaway Show. We're glad that you guys decided to join us tonight. Just a couple of things to share with you as we get started. We've got a fun giveaway, fun theme tonight, fun subject, and so we can't wait to get started and share a couple things with you. Hey, just a reminder, if you haven't yet, please consider subscribing. Every subscription, every person that subscribes helps the channel immensely. We're right on 1,000, so we'd love to have you join us for that big celebration that we're going to have probably next month is what it's looking like, but we're excited about it nonetheless. Right here at the beginning of September, to be right at the edge of 1,000 subscribers. That's a big deal, and we're celebrating and we're excited about it. Also, just a quick reminder that like and comment on this video. Every like that you hit will definitely help the channel and will help people help let people know that it's gone live and that we got a show going right now. We're going to keep it to as close to an hour as we can. But Paul's got a lot of things on his mind, so we'll see where that goes. Just a reminder, every week we do have 3 shows on most weeks. This past Monday, we did not have an episode of Monday Halls Live because it was a holiday. It's time to celebrate, enjoy some time with friends, family, and comic books. But normally, Monday Halls Live is Mondays at 10 p.m. Central. Streams for about an hour to an hour and a half, and we share the latest week to week and a half's worth of comic book pickups. MT has always got something to share from the stacks and stacks. This coming up Monday, I'll have quite a few stuff to share as well from my big Labor Day shopping spree. I can't wait to share that with you. It's Wednesday night, and this is the Giveaway Show, 10 p.m. Central on Wednesdays. And we do just that. We do giveaways. We try to provoke and promote generosity in the community, to just push back on some, negative stuff that happens in the community. On Fridays, we've got Friday features. This past Friday, if you haven't checked it out yet, make sure and watch it. The top 10 Spider-Man comics that you should be checking out right now. It was exciting to get back into that. This upcoming week, we've got another big hero that I can't wait to share. There's been a ton of them because he is the intergalactic space cop. Be on the lookout this Friday night, for my top 10 picks for Green Lantern comics that you should be checking out right now. We've got a bunch more cool characters coming up, so that's going to be a whole lot of fun. So those are Friday features. Those go live on Fridays at 10 p.m. Central. Most Fridays, there's a few exceptions here and there, but for the rest of this year, you should have quite a few of them. Also, if you haven't checked it out yet, Comic Collecting for Beginners is a 4-part video series for new and intermediate comic collectors. Even pros can find something out, can get something from this. It's available on YouTube. It's got its own playlist. If you go to the home page for the channel, you can find it there. And so I'm real excited about that series. A lot of people have found it and enjoyed it, gotten a lot out of it. So make sure and do that. Real quick, let's do some shout outs, and then we are going to go ahead and hop on and we're going to get this going. For Pete Saki, what's up? Thank you for dropping in first. Yes, Paul is here and he is excited. Happy Wednesday to you as well. Kip D, good to see you, buddy. Yep, by 1 minute tonight, but late nonetheless. Jeff Mathis, it's good to see you, buddy. Neon Kane, good to see you as well. Amazing Spider Flint, glad that you are here. Kip D, good to see you again. Bry Guy, Future Batman. All right, L Green Machine, what's up? It's good to see you. We're glad that you're here as well. Hey, so for everybody who's watching and just hanging out, make sure and hit that like button one more time. And then let's see if we can get Paul to turn on his camera. What's up, Mike Bravo? Good to see you. All right. Hey, what's up, everybody? Hey, there he is. He's here, folks.
I am here.
So
I see I'm already getting blamed. Yep, I'm getting blamed already. I see Jeff's in here, Mike Bravo. All my people are in here. Let's just get started.
All right. So the GIF of the night that we'll be referring to in honor of our in honor of our subject tonight. This is our gift right here.
What the?
So anytime Paul says something outlandish, that's what we're gonna defer to. Hey, so tonight we're trying something a little bit new. We are doing we're going to start doing I think a monthly episode that's devoted to classic storylines. And so we brought a couple to share and say, hey, there he is, Strictly Comics in the chat, popping in. Glad to see you there as well, sir. Congratulations on the new abode. Sorry I couldn't make it, but I know that plenty of celebrating was done, so we're glad about that. Hey, but yeah, so we're going to be doing once a month-ish themed episode around classic storylines because, we love comics and we love sharing about comics. And so what I wanted to do also was, as we theme those these different episodes, we're going to be shifting to one giveaway, but a little bit higher quality giveaway. So for tonight, because we're talking about Daredevil classic storylines, the first one that we're going to be talking about tonight is none other than Daredevil Born Again. I found this cool graphic on DeviantArt, and we've all seen that the announcement that the new Daredevil series is coming in a couple years. It's going to be called Born Again, and my hope is that it's going to do the classic storyline justice because we're going to be focusing on that storyline. I've got this copy of Daredevil number 230, which is part of the Born Again storyline with this iconic cover. This is going to be our giveaway for tonight. It's a newsstand copy. Wow. This is putting this at about a 6.5 to 7, maybe. I don't know. I need to take a closer look at it. But still, I mean, hey, it's a free classic book, hot spec book. If you don't have your copy of the run of Born Again, now is the time to be digging those back issue bins and picking it up. Not just for speculation, throw that aside. It's because it's one of the most amazing Daredevil stories that's ever been written and illustrated. I love it. And yeah, the Silver Age stuff is great. And all through, there's been tons of great storylines, but this is a great.
All right. Yeah. So Mike Bravo takes that. Thank you, Mike Bravo.
All right. So this is Daredevil Born Again, or part of the storyline. It's the one with the cover on it, or with the title on it. It's number 230. It's got a little bit of a spine roll here, but yeah, this is going to be our giveaway for tonight. We're just going to do one giveaway tonight. We're going to do it at the 30-minute mark, and then we're going to keep on going with the discussion. So we are talking about tonight classic storyline. What?
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
We're talking about classic storylines right now, and the first one that we couldn't go by any further without talking about is Daredevil Born Again. So this is. Hey, wait, what is this that popped up here in my background? Is that Jen? No, it's not Jen. Here we go. Let me pull it up here real quick. My screen.
I think Carlos froze again. There's the unprofessionalism, as I have stated many of times.
There we go.
Okay, there we go. We're back.
Sorry. All right. So Daredevil Born Again was a 1986 comic book story arc written by Frank Miller and drawn by David Mazzucchelli. All right. Now this storyline appeared in Daredevil issues number 227 through 230. Now, when I was, I think I was about 13 years old in 89 or 90. I was 13 years old, and I traded a Amazing Spider-Man comic to another kid in gym class for a copy of the Daredevil Born Again storyline, the Daredevil trade paperback. Now, I didn't know much about Daredevil at the time. This was my first exposure to it. This was just a few years after it had come out, and it was already collected as a trade paperback. And this is way before trade paperbacks were a thing. And so but I read this storyline, And this style of gritty, earthy comic books was not something I was used to. I hadn't read Batman, The Dark Knight yet. I definitely hadn't read Watchmen yet. So I read this and just, and then saw all these different elements when different characters popped in, like the Avengers showing up at one point, Captain America's involvement in the story, and some, other different elements going on. I'd never been exposed to something like that, and let me tell you, it left a mark. Because as a young 13-year-old sitting there reading that comic book and seeing everything that Daredevil went through and how he reemerged as a new and stronger superhero as a result of the trials that he went through, it was impacting. It was hugely impacting on me as a kid. And so we're going to kind of go through it just a little bit. And then, let's see, on my way, Batman the Streets. I made it. Okay, let's see what else. 18 episodes, TV series, 5 entries. Daredevil My Man. Hello, you got mail. He's got D's big flaming face. Hey, what's up, Comic Book Report? So that's just, so the kind of the gist of the Daredevil Born Again storyline. I'm going to say this real quick, and then I'm going to have Paul chime in on some stuff. Here's some cover art from another one of the issues. And then here is this issue. So Daredevil Born Again opens with Matt Murdock having some troubles. He's been targeted by the Kingpin. Right. The Kingpin finds out that Matt Murdock is Daredevil, and he sets his sights on him. And he just starts to chip away at him. And Matt Murdock finds himself financially destitute, gets disbarred, just continues to get hammered by the Kingpin's behind-the-scenes mechanics, and to the point where Matt Murdock can't even get a hotel room to stay in once he's out on the street. Even to the point where his apartment gets blown up by the Kingpin. He's stabbed and attacked in an alleyway fight with a guy named Turk. Meanwhile, his former girlfriend, Karen Page, has gone south of the border. She's doing a lot of things to try to survive. She's on drugs, and she starts she's the one that kicks off this entire thing where she sells the secret of Matt Murdock's secret identity to the criminal underworld, and it makes its way to Kingpin. And Kingpin just begins to hammer him, and including getting a mental asylum inmate released and dressed up in the Daredevil costume, going around and committing violent acts in the Daredevil costume, making people think that that's actually Daredevil. And so, we see little bit by little bit Daredevil himself losing himself, trying to find out who is putting all this pressure on him, to the point where he hits rock bottom, has nothing, but his friends are still trying to hold out for him. This is one of my favorite scenes right here when the asylum inmate, when the Kingpin's men have told the Gladiator that he must make a Daredevil costume for the inmate to go around and be an imposter for Daredevil, and Daredevil shows up afterward and tells him to go and make the costume and nobody's going to be hurt. And this sets up the big, and the costume is made. Here's the inmate, and then this sets up the big fight between the two and brings it to a conclusion. There's also a bunch of other stuff mixed in. It's a fantastic story with so many different things going on. And I know I'm completely butchering it, but I'm sure Paul will hop in and give some additional insight. Yes, Mike Bravo. The story is collected as a trade paperback. It has many different. It has many different covers. I'm pulling up right now the cover that I know this is the one that I remember as a teenager, this was the cover for the trade paperback when I was a kid. I'm gonna load this here, so check that out. Yeah, this was the trade paperback right here. I love what they did with the stained glass. They took all these different elements of the story and incorporated in the stained glass behind him. And then there's Daredevil, Matt Murdock, and then there's Karen Page, just looking very nice in that outfit. You know, as a 13-year-old boy, I thought, wow, you know. But yeah, this was the trade paperback cover, and I love this at the bottom here. Kingpin, like all those people being consumed by him, the flames, like portraying him as like a devil. And you know, one of the neatest things about Daredevil Born Again was that it really, the way it structured itself as a redemption and identity arc, much like kind of like the suffering of Christ, like kind of a process of brokenness and then redemption at the end, and new identity at the very end. That's juxtaposed with the very first introduction in the storyline. Lots of overarching religious themes, because Daredevil, Matt Murdock, is a Catholic. He is an Irish Catholic, and so I love that it ties in his faith into the storyline and the different parts of it. You know, including the title of the entire storyline, which is Born Again, which is the whole idea of being born again as a Christian in the Judeo-Christian ethic. That's a big deal. Hey, let me go ahead and welcome in. Somebody else decided to pop in. I'm going to bring him on. What's up, Jen? Oh, wait, you're muted, buddy. You muted yourself.
Hey, what's up, guys?
What's up?
How you guys doing? Are we talking about Daredevil over here?
Yeah. We are talking about classic Daredevil storylines tonight, and that's awesome. That's the subject for the night. So I was doing kind of a really terrible job at doing a capsule storyline, or like kind of like a synopsis of what Daredevil Born Again was about. But yeah, I wanted to open it up, man. Have you guys share your thoughts about the storyline. You know, if y'all remembered it, if y'all did not, that's cool. Also, to go along with it, Jen, check it out. Daredevil number 230.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, that's a really good. That's a really good story. That's I think Frank Miller worked on that one. Frank Miller worked on it. It's one of the best stories, like that you could probably read. It's my understanding is that, like, if you're not a big Daredevil person or a big Daredevil fan, I would say read that book, because in that one it's like the post. It's a story where basically Wilson Fisk finds out that Matt Murdock is Daredevil, so he like puts like a hit on him. I believe that's how the story goes, and it's
put a hit on him. He starts making his life hell.
Yeah,
pretty much. And but Daredevil also understands that, like, you kind of also need a guy like Wilson Fisk, because Wilson Fisk is not just a mobster, but he's also a guy that he's kind of like the Saddam Hussein of like the Middle East.
What?
But for like he controls like all the crime. He controls all the crime. So if you were to take him out of the picture, the entire city would be chaotic, which is what Daredevil was dealing with. If you read his stories. Anyways, it's a good read. I don't know what Carlos.
I don't know what you're going with that, but that's totally different than what.
I'm sure that
what the Kingpin
is. I'm sure that Carlos was probably telling you guys to read that book, and he's 100% right. It's a really good book.
Well, so this is just one of the issues. This happens to be the one that has the storyline title on it, and so that's why I decided I picked it up on Labor Day when I went shopping at this spot and brought home like a ton of books, almost a whole short box full, and this wasn't even one of the best, one of the coolest ones. But because we were going to try this classic storylines thing out, I decided to go ahead, and this isn't a bad copy of it. I'd put it at about a 6.5, maybe a 7. It does have like a spine miswrap, but it's still actually not in bad shape. And with a press and clean, it's a decent copy. Might even make a PC copy. So yeah, so this is the free give. This is the giveaway for tonight. We're going to do this in about 10 minutes. We're just going to do one giveaway tonight because we are shifting over to that, but we're going to go with more, with a little bit better books. Your Ronnie Boy Comics, what's up? Andrew Kai, good to see you. Same Amazing Spider Flint. I do hope the Disney series is as gritty as the Netflix series as well. Strictly, DD is Marvel's Batman. Changed my mind. True, I agree. I think, Daredevil is just a top.
Daredevil is not Batman, Strictly. You got one lawyer, one detective, one's a millionaire, one's a lawyer, came from Hell's Kitchen. Come on, Strictly.
All right, so Paul, what did you think about the original?
Well, I think Frank Miller being on the title, was it 168? I believe 168, 26
when he started.
Yeah. Right. So I think he took it to more an adult route versus like the way it's been. Like he fights crime and then there's no real backstory. So I think him bringing in Kingpin was like what Jen said is a good fit for Daredevil because he controls all of New York's crime. And I mean just the cover is just nice. I mean you got the World Trade Centers, you got the target of Daredevil right here. And then inside you see he finds out who he is. So I mean, I think that was the.
You said 158 or
168.
It's 158. You're close. I think you meant to say 158, but you said 168.
Oh, so he finds out his secret identity, which is crazy at that time to find out the hero's identity, and then just makes his life a living hell. Like blows up his apartment, and just makes his life hell. I think that was a good storyline. That and the one I like the most is the Elektra storyline. When he introduced her, he said that he wanted a girlfriend for Daredevil that was not like just an ordinary girl on the street. He wanted her to be just as the same as matched as him. And then to kill her, I mean, that's just... It's growing up with that was just crazy. Just to see her die with a side through her chest. I mean, wow, it's just...
Yeah, that was the Until Death Do Us Apart story arc.
Right, and I was like, that reading it as a teenager growing up, and it's like, wow, just... I mean, I was like, wow, this is an adult type of storyline. This isn't for, like, kids, and they were just selling it on the newsstand racks.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I agree with Carlos. I think Frank Miller being on Daredevil really changed the character, made him more adult friendly, and like amazing Spider Flint said, he hopes that the Disney Plus series that they go gritty and just to that adult theme versus like the Disney Plus stuff, making it for children.
Yeah, no, that's good stuff. If I was to say something on behalf of Daredevil, I think one of my favorite stories. It's also by Frank Miller, but it would probably be The Man Without Fear. It's like a 5-issue miniseries. Basically, it came out like in 1993, but it basically goes back into exploring more of like Daredevil and how he got his powers. Like, he doesn't really have powers, but his ability to have sonar vision, because he's not really blind. He actually sees
well he loses his blindness, but his other senses are enhanced. That's what you mean, like strength.
Well, he actually has like when they showed it in the movie where when the rain was falling on her face, he's able to see images because of sound, kind of like a bat.
Well, they said that in the movie they interviewed the director, and the director said that he was talking to like blind people, and they said that they used that from what blind people have done. Like they can see in the rain, like you were saying, like the raindrops act like they can overview her.
Yeah, but he can also he has like other senses too. Like he can hear like people on like the other side of like a building or something. Like he can hear people from miles away. Apparently, like he can smell. Like his ability to smell is kind of like Wolverine. Like he can smell. I mean, it's not exactly like Wolverine is like a dog, but like Daredevil, he can like smell someone and be like, no, and that's how he uses that in his martial arts too. Like he can smell your perfume here, so he'll know that you're here. But I don't know. He has like extra senses, which is like, it's funny that Strictly was like, yeah, he's kind of like Batman, like Marvel's Batman, and I'm like, yeah, but the Man Without Fear, the graphic novel, they have a graphic novel for it. It's a miniseries book, but it came out in 1993. Frank Miller wrote the story, but the artwork is actually by John Romita Jr. So it's I'm not a really big fan of John Romita Jr., but I think you can find The Man Without Fear. It's like a black and red cover. I have the book somewhere. I didn't know we were going to talk about Daredevil today, or I would have just brought out Daredevil stuff. But it's a really good book to read. I mean, I could probably look it up or something. Maybe the cover, but it basically like covers, like it says right here. Let me see. So it covers like Matt Murdock's story of his life with his mentor Stick. It talks about Stick and how he fell in love with Elektra in college. It talks about his nemesis with the Kingpin, and it also talks about his abilities and his struggles with anger because of how he feels responsible for his father's death, but other things too, like just a whole him becoming Daredevil. It's 5 issues. It's a good run. It's easy to pick up, but because it's not really a hot book right now, but it's like what Carlos was saying. Born Again or Reborn is a pretty good story. So this, if you're looking into like introduction of the character and understanding the character better, then you'd probably go back to the stories that would teach you the origins of the character. And this is one of those stories too. Like the one that Paul is talking about, the Death Do Us Part. I think that's the story where he meets Elektra and all that. But this story goes back to like how he knew her in like college or something. And then also his training with Stick. So you can read all 3 stories and kind of get an idea of how you feel for the character.
Yeah, I think I would say the because that sounds like the are you talking about the Ultimate Daredevil and Elektra one? That storyline?
No. This is the one with it has Frank Miller. I have to find the cover. I had this. I wanted Stan Lee to sign it when he was alive. But it's called Daredevil Man Without Fear. And it's like it's just a really beautiful cover. Like if you're able to, there it goes. So if you guys are able to pick this cover up, it's The Man Without Fear. Let me just zoom in on it. But
yeah.
But see, like he struggles with the movie, the Ben Affleck movie that had a really bad playground scene. I think that's what ruined the movie because you don't fight 2 adults fighting in a playground and she's fighting a blind guy. That killed the movie, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But if you see the director's cut, the director's cut is actually a far superior film. There's actually a scene where when he tells her, like when the raindrops are hitting her face and he's looking at her, he's like, "Wow, you're really beautiful."
Yeah, that was a cool
scene, or like the way, like the cinematography was really good. But in that scene, like, you think that they're, you know, in the original theatrical cut, he goes back home with her, right? But in the director's cut, he actually ditches her. He tells her, like, he hears like someone getting mugged, so he's like, "I'm sorry, I can't do this. I gotta go." And that's true to the character. That's what he would do. And I think the director's cut is far superior of a film. I watched the director's cut, and it's darker, it's grittier, just like the Netflix stuff. But that playground scene is still there, and I think that still destroys the movie. You'd want to give the director's cut like an 8.5, but it can't move above a 7. So it's like, it's like, no, I can't get behind that. I can't get behind that scene. But yeah,
I'm having flashbacks now of poor Ben Affleck balancing on that seesaw. And they even had him like kind of fake dye his hair too.
Yeah, they did a lot of things, but he wasn't a bad Daredevil or Matt Murdock. I feel like he just had a really bad. He had the same luck that he had with the Batman. Like, he's a really good Batman and he's a really good Daredevil, but his character writing for him is just like.
But before you
doesn't
speak,
know how to write, Ben Affleck
his stint as Batman may not be over. But what I'm hearing is it's not over.
No, it's not. It's they're offering him like 31 to 32 million dollars just to come back for reshoots. And if this Aquaman movie does well, guys, I think we may get a Ben Affleck solo. So I think everybody wants.
We're gonna. I think we're gonna do it. Well, anyway, look, let's set that aside. So, other storylines. I'm going to hand it off to you guys for a couple minutes while I step away.
Well, I just want to elaborate what he was saying. I think the director was pretty good on that movie with him and Foggy Nelson. They were going back and forth. I thought that was pretty good. I agree with you on
Favre. I always
they had a good back and forth. Like, as your attorney, I say you marry her as soon as possible, and it's like, okay, or like the one where he's. The people that they're defending don't have money, so they do the bartering or whatever system where they just give them fish, I think he said, or something like that. It's just, I think you're right. The playground scene was kind of.
It took away from the film.
I think it was just
you wouldn't find, like, if I was, you know, even if a guy wanted a girl's number and he followed her into the park. That entire thing is just very awkward. It's like you don't just that whole thing where he goes, "Hey, let me talk to you," and he like grabs her arm, and she's like, "Hey, I don't like being touched." And I was just like, the writing is so bad. It's so terrible. Omar, I don't know, man. I'm a big Batfleck guy, so I'm not tripping if he comes back. I feel like he had an unfair chance for that character role. Like,
I think he got a good praise when was it Jason Momoa showed him in the trailer, going in his trailer and then showing him, and everybody was just crazy that they found out he was coming back as Batman.
Yeah, I mean, let me put it this way, Omar. Like, I know a lot of people. I know there's a minority that doesn't want him returning, but if you ask any person who their favorite Batman is, he's at least in their top 2 or 3. I mean, you have Michael Keaton up there. You have Christian Bale up there, and I really like Ben Affleck as Batman. So I mean, I feel like you kind of got screwed over with the writing and everything, but And as for Daredevil, I felt like he kind of got screwed over with that one too, because he didn't do the writing for that. He wasn't a writer at the moment.
I mean, the Daredevil movie wasn't that bad. I mean, they went off the comics. They used a lot of the blind. They talked and interviewed with blind people and try to use that and incorporate it. I think when the Kingpin found out at the end, and then I guess what he let him live, right? He let him live.
Yeah, he tells him
he was supposed to whack him with his own.
With his pimp cane or whatever.
Cane.
Yeah, and he tells him he's like, yeah, go ahead and tell your patsies inside the prison cell or whatever that.
Yeah, he says tell everybody that you lost to a blind lawyer in Hell's Kitchen or something like that. Like, how would that be perceived? You lost to a blind man.
Omar, the thing is, man, I like Pattinson as a independent actor. Like, I thought he did a great job in The Rover. I thought that was a great movie. A lot of people that haven't watched The Rover should go watch it.
I mean, what Omar is, what are you saying? You saying that you either have Patterson or Affleck? I mean, they're both in different verses of the DC universe.
You also have a Joker too. You have a Joker movie that has a Bruce Wayne also. So,
and the
kid Bruce Wayne, and then you have
because
Pattinson who's getting his butt whooped in the entire movie, and
he was learning, man. This is Batman as he learns, man. You're not understanding. I don't know, the movie.
Man. He learned with
look at his car. It's not like like a Batmobile that all of us know.
It's not even that, man. He almost
it's
got
just like a car that he just going around. You know, I mean,
yeah, but he almost got his head blown off at the end of the movie by like a no-name criminal. I mean, don't get me wrong.
He helped the Riddler kill that one dude, right? He brought him to the light.
I mean, sure. I mean, again, I don't hate the movie or anything. For me, it's not one of the best Batman movies. I just look at it.
I agree with you on that, but they're just saying that he's like learning being Batman. I mean, it's not just gonna. It's like if you
read Earth, it's called Earth 1 Batman, where Alfred trains him, and Alfred actually trains them well in that book. And I felt like they took a lot of the stuff from this movie. I mean, from that comic and put it in this movie. And I think they took a lot of stuff from the Telltale games and put it like his LED lights and
like the one movie that made sense was Batman Begins, right? He trained with the League of Shadows, came back, wanted to change Gotham from the crime it was at. I mean, that would make sense because he's had training. But this Batman didn't really have training. The Robert Pattinson.
Well, he did. He did have training. I mean, even
but they're learning as you go along. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Yeah, but remember Alfred in the Earth 1, and even Alfred in the movie that they took from Earth 1, he's a ex-military black ops.
Which I agree with you on Joker, because Bruce Wayne is a little kid. So they have all that shit from his dad. It's supposedly like the Joker's his son or something like that.
Yeah, it
just was weird because Batman created the Joker, because there's a scene like you created me, I created you, so
it's very Batman 1989-ish esque or whatever. But back to Daredevil, because since we're trying to turn this into a Daredevil episode. Again, guys, I usually have my stuff ready. I have some Daredevil stuff, but I would have to
you see in Batman, Superman, or what is it? One of them that you see Robin with the ha-ha-ha's on him, right? So we probably figured out Robin died. I don't know where Catwoman is at.
You know, I mean, I so happen to have my Daredevil. But yeah, I mean...
Oh, yeah, First Echo, she's going to come out with her own series. David Mann.
Yeah, she's going to come out with her own series. So, I mean, if you...
and she was mistreated by Kingpin, I think, or her dad or something like that.
I was thinking about putting this up on an auction, but yeah, guys, this is a good pickup, too. You can also pick up issue number 11, and I think 11 is her origin story.
And then this one's 15. This is where Echo shoots Kingpin in the head right here. But yeah, David Mag goodness.
There is also a Daredevil. It's called the Ultimate Daredevil and Ultimate Elektra
series, from the Ultimate Universe.
They're pretty decent reads too. I like the artwork for it. to be honest, guys, I'm not going to tell you I read it because I didn't. But I heard like the feedback, and it wasn't as strong as like the other, like Marvel Knights Daredevil, and like one of my favorite Daredevil stories, I can't remember the name of the arc, was when Daredevil actually gets imprisoned, like the police and people find out.
I mean, how graphic is that, man? I mean, look at that. She got the.
Yeah, that's cool. But he, they find out that he's Daredevil, and they put him in a holding cell, and Iron Fist goes around being Daredevil. It's like such a cool comic. I remember reading it back in the late 90s, early 2000s, somewhere around that time. This is when Greg Morn was coming around and doing those Elektra covers. But it was Marvel Knights Daredevil, and it was good stuff because when Iron Fist went around pretending to be Daredevil, they had to let comics, you get hit in the head, and they're like, "Hey, he's not Daredevil." So, did you read that one? The one where Iron Fist becomes Daredevil? It's a really cool read. It's a really good book.
What do you think about when Kevin Smith took over? What's the character that they killed?
In what, like
the Marvel Knights, where
I only read like 2 or 3 issues, and it was only because of when the comic community at that time was like, oh yeah, I read his comment too. He's like, where's Carlos? Because I miss the panel member.
The chemistry already.
So, I mean, I really enjoyed reading just that moment. Like, does that make sense? It's like when someone says, oh, you got to read this, and you see it, and then it's like, okay, it was there for like a few issues. It's just the same reason I started picking up when Elektra became Daredevil. I just like the idea of her becoming Daredevil and how
she became Daredevil because he was in jail, right? He was in jail.
So right. It seems like everybody becomes Daredevil.
And she's actually pretty popular because she's still Daredevil.
Yeah, I mean, it's good stuff, man. So, but it's just how it is sometimes. But I have no other books here, guys, that I can show.
Comic vet. Oh man!
What Daredevil books that is? I mean, I can try to show you some Daredevil.
Because
books.
Women take over in 2020 and beyond. I mean, I'm not gonna say nothing strictly. I know what you're trying to do, strictly. That ain't gonna work. I am not like that tonight. Tonight we are talking about Daredevil, the man without fear. He said women are taking over in 2020. What the hell are you looking for?
I'm trying to look for that Daredevil book that I had. I mean, because I've been reorganizing all my Daredevil stuff too. So I've been reorganizing a lot of my things. So I thought I'd have it up here, but I don't.
So you get the real information from me. You get Cliff Notes from Jen. So I just want y'all to know that.
Yeah, well, the Cliff Notes sometimes are, the Cliff Notes sometimes help you pass the test.
That's not what.
You don't want to skim through 500 pages of textbook information unless you're taking honors classes.
You have. Oh, look, let me see. What about Typhoid Mary? Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah, man, I'm sorry, guys.
That's a crazy film.
I can't seem to find. I can't.
I just don't have our fearless leader is gone. He took a siesta.
Yeah, man. Sometimes it's.
Yeah, so I mean, I read the books, and you got Jen right here who reads Cliff Notes, so that's all good.
No, I don't know about all that. I mean, I read like older stuff, man. I don't really read the newer things anymore, man. I'm sorry, but just if they stop rebooting these books, maybe I can.
That's why he doesn't know too much, because he has he has the Cliff Notes. Cliff Notes don't go too far, right? Cliff Note. Okay, I How you gonna be eating that? We got a show going on. How you gonna just eat?
I just got off of work.
Well, eat later, man. This is important, valuable stuff. The audience don't want to see you eat.
Look, guys, this is what I eat when I actually get off of work. It's fruits. It's fruits. Come on. So
he doesn't.
No, guys. I mean,
he doesn't
I'm pretty
just
sure
eat
that.
fruits. Don't listen to that. Don't believe that. Go ahead. What'd you say?
I'm pretty sure that 90% of the people that are on here feel that way. Let me put it this way: was anybody reading the all new X-Men when it first came out?
Yeah. So Comic Book Vet said some. Hopefully, the latest volumes take off that property of the Devil's Reign. Nice, well said, Comic Book Vet. I agree on that one. He said,
I just want to know if people
Nerd Mason said, gone but not forgotten.
I just want to know if you guys were actually reading the all new X-Men when it first came out.
Oh, yeah, the Cliff Notes. I got them right here. Go ahead, sir.
So there was the all new X-Men.
We're not talking about all new X-Men. We're talking about Daredevil.
I'm just giving them an example. Like when I was reading the all new X-Men, I read it all the way up to like issue 25. And then all of a sudden, they mixed it with like 15 other books. It started crossing over with all these other books that I wasn't reading. And I get it. They got to do that sometimes, right? To sell their other shitty books. But then like 5 issues later after the event, they're like, we're going to like reboot the entire universe. And then they started doing that every 4 or 5 years. So I was just like, fuck that. I'm just not going to read these stories
what they're doing with those
certified by the fans and the critics that, hey, Jen, actually pick it up and read it. Like Secret Wars 2015 is actually a really good read. It is. But
okay, so what they do with the storyline to cut across the other titles is that those characters in that title is involved in that storyline.
Well,
do you understand now?
No, I do understand because remember I was reading Civil War, and they did that with Spider-Man, and they did that with all these other characters. But when you're reading World War Hulk, right? There's only a few characters that you even care to read about when in that story. But anything that has to do with the Illuminati, I'm talking about this World War Hulk, guys. You know, when you were reading World War Hulk, you know, here you go. You know, the first.
We got Sentry going at it.
How many people actually knew who Sentry was, right? I mean,
I can't believe Noel tore him in half, man. I can't believe that.
You know, and not a lot of people even knew who Sentry was. And I was
like, yeah, but what I'm trying to say is that these characters from them other titles are vital for the storyline. They're included in that vital storyline. You understand?
No, I do. But it's just my whole point is that you make me invest my energy, my time, my emotions into reading these stories, and then you tell me like 4 or 5 years later, haha, I got you. And then it goes, I'm gonna read.
Well, so what you're talking about?
They just keep doing it.
Hold on a second.
What? I'm done.
Hold on a second. I'll elaborate what you're talking about. So, okay, I'm writing the story, right? I'm writing Daredevil.
Jesus,
right?
If you're writing the story, man,
I'm writing the Daredevil, right? So I'm done. I move on to maybe the X-Men or Spider-Man. You come along. You're not trying to go back door from me. You're not trying to continue. You're like, what is this rubbish he's talking about? Let me write my own stuff. So that's why they always revamp it. You understand? Not like before where they just ended a storyline and then started a storyline at 251. I pick up the issue. So I'm like, okay, Jen talked about Daredevil crossing the street. I'm just going to talk about Daredevil going into the buildings now. So that's what we're doing. Now they just revamp it because they figured number one sell more.
I mean, sure. I mean, if you're only creating a number one for, you know, it makes sense.
Marvel has this thing where if you have a number one on your title, you're making some money. But before, it was like, okay, Paul's done with this storyline. Jen's taking over. Jen doesn't like what it's going. He's just going to go somewhere else with it. You understand now?
Well, no. I understand when you're switching writers. My issue here is that there's no consistency in character development. Like, for the X-Men is the perfect example, right? Like, Daredevil's had pretty good consistency as a character. We know he's blind. Sometimes he can see, sometimes he can't. But we all know that he's actually blind. It's just that what his sight is strictly based on his sonar, right? But with the X-Men, they've kind of tarnished them over a 100 years of history or whatever. It's not even 100 years, but what I'm saying is that from the 60s and so forth, if you really look at what they've done with the X-Men, oh, are they mutants? Are they not mutants? Oh, now they're deviants. They're not deviants. Oh, they're back to being mutants. Oh, what is it called? Miss Marvel or whatever. Miss Marvel is a mutant now.
No, she's an Inhuman.
Now she's a mutant. No, she's an Inhuman. No, so depending on the writer and depending on what they want to do and multiverses and all this stuff, they've complicated the whole thing. So yeah, with a guy like me who's been reading comics since like 1992, 1993.
Well, they got to keep you on the seat of your pants. You know, they got to keep you guessing, and you're like, ooh, I need to pick up this issue. Well, what's Miss Marvel going to be now versus before?
Carlos can probably predict, and even you, Paul, you could you can look at anyone here: J-Wall, Green Machine, Flex Mex, Neon. You can all these guys, if they've read comics long enough, they can probably tell where a story is going. Now, a lot of people bash guys like Donny Cates, but Donny Cates has probably been like the only writer in like the last, 10, 20 years who's kind of turned a shitty character into a really great character. Like, he took Venom and he created this amazing universe for Venom, right? And he did the same thing with the Fallen, like Silver Surfer Black. That's the Fallen one. He did amazing. Now going back to Daredevil, because that's the topic here. Daredevil has been a pretty consistent character. Like, they haven't really messed with his character. Like, there's other characters that they've messed with, and I think they
have messed with. They made Elektra Daredevil. I mean, it's just getting strictly
they kept him as Daredevil. But what happened is, because he went to jail, just like what they did in the past, when he went to jail, Iron Fist became Daredevil. And then they had to let him out because they're like, oh, he's not Daredevil. Let's let him out, right? Let's catch the real Daredevil. Then he went back and he suited up again, right? And he fist pumps Iron Fist like, hey, thanks, bro. You got my back. While I was in, jail, you took over and you did all that, right? Now, Elektra, the same thing, same concept. It's like they're just rehashing things. And for new fans, I guess it's kind of cool. It's kind of all right because they have guys like us telling them, hey, maybe you should go back and read that, right? Like Carlos is like, hey, go read Reborn, or not Reborn, but Born Again. Reborn is another thing, right? Like, Reborn is like superheroes. Marvel Heroes Reborn is another event. But Born Again is something different. But that's what I mean. Again, it's like with all these soft boots and reboots, sometimes it kind of becomes irritating to a older audience. It's not a bad thing. It's just, Matthew Fox, he still turned Venom into a cool character. There was a lot of people that didn't care for Venom. The minute he showed up, he turned Venom into a pretty cool, badass character with an amazing background. He gave him a whole universe, gave him a planet of symbiotes, things that were probably already established.
He took a bunch of stuff that was established.
Yeah, and he just added more depth and more writing. Right. And even Thor, he created the Black Winter. He created. I'm not saying that he deserves the best writer of the decade award, but if he got one for the year, for when those comics came out, I wouldn't step on his.
Man, what are you doing now?
Or whatever, for doing.
You can't be doing that while we're live, man. What the?
Eating? No.
No, I mean Donny Cates is a good writer. Him, James Tynion, but a lot of people have flack on him about his endings with like blowing shit up or the way the endings are. People have gotten upset about it. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I agree with you. He blew up the Venom verse, creating Dylan, his son, who's now Venom.
Did anybody read the end of King is Black?
I mean, King in Black was pretty good. I mean, Noel just tearing Sentry in half. I mean, the heroes just looked and they were like, oh, well, now we got to rethink what we're doing because the strongest superhero just got torn in half.
Well, the fact that he creates emotional moments. Now, here's one thing I was telling my fiance because she's a big Venom fan. I love Daredevil, but again, if you're gonna change things, you're not gonna keep things consistent. I'm probably not gonna pick up your book and read like 50, 60 issues. It doesn't even go 50, 60 issues anymore. It goes like 35 issues, maybe 40 if we're lucky, and it's like a reboot. I mean, Daredevil 1 is coming out next week, next month.
Well, does it make you feel better? Because I mean, some of them have the legacy numbers, so they still keep the number. It's so damn fine.
It's I mean the legacy numbers,
like right here. Look, there's a legacy number next to it. So
let me know that it's at issue 700
so it says legacy 902. So I mean. It'll remind you about what's going on.
Sure. It'll remind me that they've rebooted like 100 times. But
see, like Strange Academy just started, so they don't have a legacy number. So that's just to let you know. I will let you know
what the reboot for that would be like. But well, here, guys, I was telling my fiance this, like I showed her.
Like Spawn doesn't have one. He's already at 3.
Paul can not talk over me, but there is a moment where Eddie Brock introduces Dylan to Peter Parker because Null has pretty much put a hit on Venom. You know, like all the symbiotes, all the villains are gonna attack him. Carnage. So he introduces Dylan to Peter Parker. And Dylan's just like, who's this guy? I've never met him before. And he's like, hey, he's the only guy that I trust. Like right now, he's the only guy that they probably wouldn't see me with because of their history, their past, and so forth. But it also shows like a moment where Peter sees that Eddie Brock has a lot of respect for him and stuff. And I'm like, holy crap. It's a really good moment, you know, but you have to have the right writer, and you can't have the wrong writer that doesn't know how to socialize or has social anxiety in the real world. And I remember Donny Cates was saying something about how he takes like certain PEDs or something when he's in the bathtub. I can't tell you what he takes because this is like supposed to be a kid's show, right? But he says that, you know, he smokes and he lays down and he writes what the ideas that are in the back of his head.
I mean, that's just like the 60s and 70s writers. Sure. I bet they were on everything and in the sun.
Yeah. Know? But
I mean, how you come up with Galactus? I mean, you got to be on something.
Dude, Galactus is a fantastic character.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, what you're saying is that's probably happened in the past. I mean, so.
Yeah, I'm not saying it didn't, Paul. I'm just saying that. I
don't know what you're saying, Jen. this is a good time for me to pop in. You know, because hey, guess what? It is time for a giveaway. All right, Paul's gonna laugh and try to control himself. Jen's gonna have some dinner because he's been out running around. But let me show you, just as a reminder. Hey, if you're watching us right now, this is the giveaway show on Carl's Collects Comic. And we're talking. We started out talking about classic storylines. I don't know what we're talking about now.
I mean, We're talking about how writers write a story.
That's right. There you go. Writers write stories. I'm glad we figured that out tonight, because now your night is made better knowing that writers write stories. All right. Daredevil number 230. This is part of the iconic Born Again storyline. This is the giveaway. We're going to go and do that right now. I've got a quiz question queued up right now in the chat. I'm about to drop it. This is a character that I referenced in one of the screenshots that we shared towards the beginning of the episode.
The answer is Bullseye.
That's a lie. Don't listen to him. Quiz question. What is Melvin Potter's costumed alter ego? His character is in the Daredevil Born. Yep. Bam. Yeah, I know. Look, Comic Book Report, man, he's not playing.
Writers write stories.
Yeah, right. Right.
Oh, you talking about nowadays? Probably not.
All right, so hey, you see the answer. I'm going to leave it open for you guys. The answer is Gladiator. Melvin Potter is Gladiator in some of the early issues. In fact, I think some of the first issues of the Daredevil run. Melvin Potter, a.k.a. Gladiator, was introduced. By the time the Born Again storyline came about, Melvin Potter had reformed his ways and actually become a costume maker, and he was the one who would manufacture the costumes for Daredevil. So when the Kingpin's men came to pressure him as an ex-con into making a fake or an authentic costume for the Daredevil imposter, Melvin was very, very torn, but it was Daredevil that showed up in this clip right here and said, hey, Melvin, make the costume. No one will be hurt.
Yep. Frank Miller was on something right there. So you see, Jen, so when you're on something, that's what you come up with. You understand?
All right.
I totally understand,
so
Paul.
That is the background on the Melvin Potter character. I see
you're not yourself when you're hungry.
Gladiator. All right. Again, for those who maybe had forgotten or hadn't seen it, and you're just dropping it in there, Daredevil number 230 even has the Born Again storyline title on it. This copy is going to be yours. I'm putting this at, like I said, about a 6 to 6.5 maybe. It definitely could use a clean and press. It's got the staples are a little bit kind of around, and so it's kind of got like a little bit of a spine roll thing going on. But hey, it's a nice copy, and it's going to be yours tonight for the lucky winner.
Yeah, but if you give it to,
I'd probably be angry
worldwide, he could probably turn it into like a 9.8. You know, if you give it to Press Niche Worldwide guy.
What did you just call it?
He said Press Niche Worldwide.
All right, let me go ahead and start getting these names entered in here real quick.
And drop your link down there.
Drop what link?
You know, Mr. Worldwide.
He's not even here. Oh yeah, he is here. Yeah, you're right.
He's there.
Yeah, you are right.
Oh, he's always lurking when there's books to give out.
To give away, yeah. He doesn't want the
give out
he didn't want the valuable writing information that me and Jim were getting.
Well, he was I think he was past the stage of
I'd be angry if my name was Harry Potter. He says, now I lurk on Mondays. Oh, man.
All right. Put this back up here. Okay, so comic tracks. El Green, good to see you. I got to pop in on the Comic Vets Wednesday night pickup thing earlier and dropped in for just a second to say hey to everybody. And
Vet, what do you serve country?
The what?
He was in the service. Is that why?
Yeah, I think the Comic Vet was actually. Yeah, I think he's a veteran. So.
Oh wow, okay.
If he's still in the chat, or no, hey, go check his channel out. It's just search the Comic Vet, and you can find his channel there. He's got a lot of cool content.
That's cool.
Some live streams also. So I have to see about getting him to come over here and hang out with us sometime because, he's
Canadian.
He's probably like, my life is less because.
Oh, he's a Canadian vet. Oh, okay.
All he's a Canadian vet. Okay, cool.
That's what Green Machine is. Oh, okay. All right.
Okay. Matthew Fox, I'm going to enter you, but I don't see that you put the name in there. Now I lurk on Mondays. All right, I think I've got everybody. Hey, if you have not entered to win, make sure and drop your entry into the chat right now. We've got 13 people entered, but there's like 20 something people watching. So if you want to get this free book, this Daredevil number 230, make sure and drop your answer. There we go, Shutterduck.
Shutterduck, Matthew Fox, he put it in. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, and I had him, and I'm going to put Shutterduck.
Okay.
All right, and anybody else? Let me give you another second before Paul drops an inline for us.
All right. Neon King, you got him?
Yep.
Tony Stank, you got him?
There's Tony Stank. Yep.
There he goes. Okay. Where's Strictly? Strictly was waiting for you for the. He said he needed the chemistry back. He was waiting for you.
I know. I saw his thing. All right. Let me do it. Let's do a 45-second race here. And we're going.
Blame Pink.
I'm going to go ahead and set it. All right. Why don't you go and drop that inline for me, Paul?
All right. I'm dropping the inline.
Yeah, there we go.
Here we go.
Let me go share the screen, and we're going to get this race started. And somebody is going to get a copy of Daredevil number 230, the second to the last part. It's a news cover. Hey, one of the cool things that I didn't even bring up when I was recapping Born Again was that the Ben Urich character that which I hated the way they handled him in the Netflix series because he's a huge part of the Daredevil mythos. But Ben Urich is a huge part of the story, and he's featured here on the cover of this particular issue. That's him on the cover. He's just been intimidated by a huge nurse, a female nurse who broke his wrist and murdered 2 cops that were guarding him. Don't want to give it away, but yeah, awesome story. I wouldn't have thought of something like that. Okay, so here we go. Let's shuffle the characters. 3, 2, 1, and here we go.
Here we go. Good luck.
All right, good luck to everybody.
Man, Comic Tracks?
Dude, Comic Tracks not playing. Look at him. Uh-oh.
I noticed we say his name, and then all of a sudden he's...
MT's volunteering to give away a Turok number 1.
A Turok number
1. We will do that as a giveaway if MT would ever sell me one. He still has not sold me one. He
sell you one.
The $1,000 copy.
Yup, I claimed it. Yup.
Yeah.
You're still in shock, huh? Haven't gotten over it.
Yeah, I'm still hurt over that. Uh-oh. Are you serious?
Oh, Daniel, damn!
Man, I've never seen a... Oh, no. Look who...
Oh, Daniel!
You can't afford a Turok number 1.
I've never seen that. Oh, no. Look. All right, congratulations.
That was his calling sign.
Chaos is about to ensue. Daniel Castro, this is your copy of Daredevil number 230. You're going to go ahead and as I'm getting caught up, I am going to start shipping these things out the week of. I'm not going to even wait. I just want to get them shipped out. That's why we're going to switch to one slightly more valuable book for each of the giveaways. All right, so hey, make sure and let me go ahead and bring it in. MT, what's up? You want to say hey to everybody?
Yeah, hey, what's going on, guys? Good to see everybody. Oh, you got 24 people in here. That's fantastic.
Yeah,
Daredevil talk.
Well, I thought it started out decently well, and then I had to step away for a moment, and then it just devolved very quickly.
It has a tendency to do that.
No.
We had Donald Blake in there. We
did MT. We did share with they did share with the chat that writers write stories, so that's a big breakthrough.
I will say, here's my only comments. The original Daredevil comic was known as a turning point for showing action on a comic book page.
It was delayed. It was delayed. That's why they created the Avengers. Yep.
It was a defining form in the art form of comic books for showing movement on the page, and it's been heralded as the comic that changed the game as far in that regard. Because Daredevil was flipping around, and very much Spider-Man. The way Spider-Man was drawn was changed after Daredevil came out.
Really?
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it started mimicking Daredevil with Spider-Man practically.
Daredevil's Ariel, right? Jen's right.
Well, because he had Romita Sr., and then he went to Spider-Man, so he took his art, the way he was drawing Daredevil, and then went to Spider-Man.
But remember, Paul, what's his name left because of the Green Goblin thing. Steve Ditko. Was it Steve Ditko? I believe he left, and I think a few other people that were working on the books.
Well, he left him and Stan Lee didn't see eye to eye, so he just.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, so when you bring in like certain people to draw certain ways, it was probably a perfect time for them to show Spider-Man in a different light. Like whenever you get a new artist.
At any rate, I must say that really was never a tremendous Daredevil fan. I'm a cursory fan, but I did like when Kevin Smith wrote his own trade paperback of Daredevil for the Daredevil movie that Batfleck was in. And I actually like that movie.
Ben Affleck.
Yeah, we were talking about that just a few moments ago.
Right, we were talking about how writers write the script.
No, that's what we were talking about was how Donny Cates had written certain characters that weren't very popular and eventually created a whole universe for a character like Venom.
Okay, so anyways, this trade paperback that Kevin Smith wrote was kind of very interesting to me, especially since like comic book movies were really kind of hokey or campy. Like Superman was a kind of a campy movie. That was the biggest kind of superhero movie growing up. And like Daredevil took it to a more gritty and serious level, kind of on par with what Batman had done. But I really liked the colors and the cinematography in Daredevil. I know it's not always fondly remembered, but at the time that was pretty groundbreaking for anything outside of a Batman movie that could be taken seriously in the superhero universe. So I will give Daredevil credit really for being the first serious Marvel hero out there.
What about Blade?
I was just going to get to Blade. But Blade was Blade isn't a capes and cowls type hero. He had a very street level and fell in line with all these other vampires and Lost Boys and vampire genre movies. There were tons of those out there. Now, don't get me wrong, Blade is phenomenal. Still one of my favorite all-time Marvel movies. And, it's hard to top Wesley Snipes' performance in there. But as far as your cape and cowl type superhero movie, I think Daredevil in a lot of ways paved the way for the larger Marvel universe.
Oh my gosh.
But at any rate, Kevin Smith was like super popular that day. He was doing Clerks. He was on the cutting edge. And so it was kind of neat. That's the reason I picked up that trade paperback, is because he wrote it with
was it the Marvel Knights when he took over? Is that the one you're talking about? When he took over Daredevil?
He wrote a one-off trade paperback, him and Ben Affleck.
Oh, him and Ben. Okay.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
I own it. I could dig it out here, but
what are you talking about?
He wrote a one trade paperback with Ben Affleck and him.
And Kevin Smith wrote a Daredevil for the movie. Blank Man. What was the one where what was the movie where it was like the Ben Stiller did the superheroes with the guy who I just get angry?
Mystery Man.
Mystery Man.
That was fantastic.
The Shoveler, whatever.
Yeah. No, William Macy was the Shoveler, and Ben Affleck was, I think, Captain Furious.
No, it wasn't Ben Affleck. It was Ben Stiller.
Oh, Ben Stiller. Yeah. Ben Stiller. Sorry.
I will say that I liked the Netflix series. It took a long time to get going, and like they had him in like the weird black suit. They had like the intro was the really awesome red paint over the image of Daredevil.
Yeah.
Then you don't see him in the damn costume the whole entire first series, which was kind of like, oh my god, it takes forever to get there. The second,
the writers are setting up the storyline to get him to the costume,
right? Which they needed to pay off a little bit sooner than the last 5 minutes of the last episode. Is my point.
No, it wouldn't have made sense in the writing standpoint.
Sure, I'll agree with that. But it kind of started to lose me when they brought the Elektra girl in there, who's like 60 pounds soaking wet. And I'm supposed to believe that she can defeat an entire room full of 200-pound men. Lost me. Sorry. Not going to buy it. You get somebody like Black Widow had the prowess. I can see her throwing people around. You know what I mean? You believe that.
But in the storyline, in the Daredevil storyline, she was part of the storyline with Daredevil. So that's probably...
Sure.
She's a strong woman in 2022.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, we're just gonna have to.
I'm just saying.
We're just gonna have to accept that because that's what Echo. That series is coming. So
I like Echo. I think Echo was well cast. I hope she does come back for Daredevil. She's supposed to come back in the Daredevil series, Carlos.
There you go, Omar.
No, actually, what I'm hearing is that the Elektra role has been recast.
What?
Yeah.
Those are rumors, but yeah, I've heard that too.
Thank God.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think rumors like that get started and get out there because like these rumors, they're leaked by the PR company for the studio, and they're put out there for them to gauge kind of how people react to it.
Reaction.
Yeah.
Well, who I think is the two best female cast in the MCU is Yelena Belova and Kate Bishop.
Yeah,
Kate Bishop and Yelena.
What's her
Yelena
name?
Belova is the most likable female. She could easily carry her own movie. She's a phenomenal actress. She has the physical prowess to pull it off. I mean, she's hitting tens.
They're saying she's going to be the leader of the Thunderbolt.
Florence Pugh, who's playing Yelena Belova.
And,
well, in the comics, her and that Black Widow and Kate Bishop are like roomies and friends, and they hang out and go do stuff together.
And Hawkeye with her and Bishop. Yeah.
I like the cast as Kate Bishop. I think she's phenomenal. And of course, they're going to cross over with Daredevil to bring this back to Daredevil. You're talking all your street level heroes. Hopefully we get Luke Cage, the guy who was cast at Luke Cage.
So Luke Cage, Iron Fist, and Elektra are all recast.
The Night of Flowers does not need to come back.
Well, the only rumor that I heard about Elektra so far is that they want to get Eliza Rodriguez to be Elektra.
Yeah,
and I've been seeing that everywhere. But again,
who's Eliza? What would I have seen her in?
You would have seen her in Baby Driver. She was John Hamm's love interest in the movie. She was also in that other movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger where he's like chasing a bunch of hoodlums. I can't remember. He's called the sheriff or something.
Didn't see any of those.
Yeah, it's
that doesn't ring a bell.
I mean, the only one that's the funniest to me when you're talking about like this is part of the reason that Batwoman show got tanked. The girl that was like 50 pounds soaking wet was the girl that was in the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. show. The one who's like got permanently like got her grumpy face on. Like she's a good actress, but she's
the one who plays Quake.
No. The number 2.
Ming-Na Wen. She's on The Mandalorian now.
She is on Mandalorian. Yeah.
But like,
who's this?
they would cut away, and her stunt double was like a foot and a half, 2 foot taller than her, and it was so obvious in the fight scene. It's just like, yeah, she is a good actress. She's like related to Bruce Lee or something. Somebody was telling me.
I don't know about that.
No idea, but like,
I don't know. I never heard that.
It's hard to like buy in when it's that.
Well, the writers get you like situated like that. They get these characters, so they have you. The fight sequences make sense. The writers know what they're doing.
You're saying Ming-Na Wen? Yeah, she played Chun-Li in Street Fighter, the really bad live action movie.
The one with the
she was Chun-Li in that movie from what I recall. She was in Mulan. I think she was the voice. She was a voice actress.
We're talking about the same girl.
No, I don't think
she was a voice actress of Mulan, and
talking about like Okoye, the girl who plays Okoye that was in Walking Dead. Like you see her, she could literally.
Are you talking about
Okoye?
She's from The Mandalorian, right?
Yeah.
She's also in The Mandalorian. She was Chun-Li in Street Fighter.
Oh, she was the reporter, right?
Yes, that's Chun-Li. She was Chun-Li in Street Fighter, and she was also the voice of Mulan.
Damn.
In the Disney cartoons or whatever.
Moving on, did you guys hear about the Okoye supposed to get her own show or her own movie?
Hey, tell you what, we're going to save that for next week, and let me go ahead and take this opportunity to promote it.
Who's Okoye?
Because we do need to go ahead and end
Dora Milaje.
We need to go ahead and end it.
The Dora Milaje, the wives of Black Panther.
Hey, so hey, that's a great segue into previewing for next week. Next week we're going to be covering all the D23 announcements.
Right.
There's already leaks. I want to see what actually comes out, and then next week, I think Paul is going to lead the discussion on Paul and MT, and hopefully Jen also. You guys can discuss because I won't be on because I'll have a late work night that night.
Oh.
So Paul's gonna handle it, but they're gonna get a chance to talk about all the D23 news that's starting to come out. And yeah, MT. That took me by surprise, the Okoye thing. But I want you guys to save it and hit some of it, a little bit of it on Monday, but then mainly save it for next Wednesday when we've gotten all the announcements and we know exactly what's gonna, like what's happening. But it looks like there's a lot of really cool stuff. What I did want to do is remember. I did want to go ahead and I'm going to bring this down for a second, and guys, I'm going to let y'all, because I'm going to go ahead and end it. I'm going to end the episode, but I'm going to end it a little bit differently. Because I just wanted to share something. I know some of you, some are aware, some probably aren't aware. If you're not aware, it's actually, you're better for it. So today there was a release from the owner of the Black Flag Comics who shared about, I guess there's been a lot more personal issues that have come about and come to light, but that his wife did leave him for Clayton Crane, and they went off together, left him and his daughter. He's very emotional in the video. The video's already been shared. Memes are going, spreading a lot on Instagram and Facebook. It's popping up in my feed in both places. And so I wanted to take a second to address it, and then we're done covering that issue and all of that on this channel from this point forward. We're not going to bring it up, and please, whoever did that, please don't do that. We're not going to cover it anymore because it's transitioned from being kind of like business of the comic community to being something just really, really toxic and nasty. And I just don't want us to be a part of that. If other channels choose to discuss it, if people, like if the other panelists, everybody associated with this channel wants to discuss it on other channels, that's cool. But I think that, these types of issues, A, they're very deeply personal, and B, they're very deeply destructive, and not just to the people involved in them, but also to just us as a society. One of the biggest epidemics that we face is the breakdown of the family and of marriages. And that's like a serious thing, because what happens is every time we see that, it's just like these little hits that keep hitting us and desensitizing us to it, and just kind of breaking down fabric, kind of the societal fabric. And I'm not even talking about it from like a moral or religious standpoint, because you would think, with my day job being as a pastor, that would be the first thing. I'm talking simply as a sociological standpoint. These types of things are destructive. So I don't think it's funny when a marriage collapses, even if it's to somebody who's done a lot of great wrongs, or in some views might even deserve it, because I think all of us are impacted negatively when things like this happen, because there's ripple effects. And believe it or not, like it or not, acknowledge it or not, agree or not, it does have an overall negative impact on us as a community, because we are woven together for good or for bad, because we're all tied together through this hobby that we all love. And so, it's everybody has a different opinion on it. I love that everybody has a different opinion on it. I'm not even really going to express my opinion on it. I'm just simply going to say that, as the leader of this channel and the person whose name is on this channel, I'm just addressing it, saying, yes, we're aware, and I'm aware that it's happening and that it's going on, and that we probably don't even know all of the details. But at this point, because of the territory it's drifted into, and the subject matter, and that this is a real family and real people, and there's a real daughter out there, that's having to navigate this, and seeing her family just kind of paraded around on social media for people's entertainment. We're just not going to, I'm not going to be a part of that, and we're not going to be a part of that on the channel. And again, like I said, panelists can do as they'd like to do and discuss it and dissect it and talk about it. But I really did just want to at least make you aware that I was aware that we're aware, and let you know that where my stance is on it, and that this channel won't be covering it, moving forward, because I'm sure there will be other stuff that comes out in the coming weeks about it, because it just seems to be a thing that just keeps, new stuff just keeps coming out, and it's just beyond the point of, it's beyond the point of health, mental, spiritual, social health, to be even paying attention to it at this point. And I, for one, am definitely going to, as much as he's done, I'm going to pray for that guy, pray for his wife, Clayton, and the daughter, and just, pray that healing takes place. So that's really it. So I want to thank you guys for tuning in tonight and for being a part of the chat and hanging out. I don't like to get, super serious and heavy like this, but I did feel like it was necessary for me to say something about it. But I'm going to go ahead and bring the guys back in to bid you good night, and we're going to go ahead and sign off for the night. So thank y'all for tuning in and for being here. We are glad that you guys were here. And we'll at this point, we'll go ahead and say, oh, check it out, new outro for the show. So thank you guys for tuning in. Good night. Enjoy being with you.